Menendez is on everybody's breath right now.
Yes.
Why are they getting out of jail? For somebody who has not supported that reality show, I haven't watched whatever the documentary or whatever is.
It's a documentary,
the
and then
new
there's
one.
a new show on Netflix.
Right, that Netflix show, I have not. I treat it just like that Jeffrey Dahmer story. I'm like, I don't really want to throw money at the murderers.
It's actually the same kind of series, but just a different story. But though I actually watched just the documentary, I didn't watch the show. I wanted just the facts because shows tend to lie and fib things a little bit. But the DA that put them in jail is saying that he feels that they have served their time.
Yeah.
So
for murdering their two parents, though, they murdered well, I don't know which one.
They admitted it after a while.
But both of them. One of them
was the
pulled the trick. You know what I'm saying? I don't know who did what. Like as far as Lyle and Eric. That's the names?
Yeah.
All right, so I don't know which one did what, but I'm knowing both of them are responsible for their parents' death.
Yes.
So both of them killed their parents, and we think that they just now are rehabilitated?
Well, they didn't
like
get
they
a fair
paid
trial.
their debt?
They didn't. If you look back at what happened, they didn't get a fair trial at all. When they had to do the retrial the second time, they weren't allowed to put in any of the evidence that they were sexually abused as children all the entire time while they were growing up, and nobody believed them. And they went and told other family members, cousins, even their mother. Their mother told them to basically shut up and let them continue being sexually abused by their dad.
You sound like their lawyer right now.
Well,
how old were they when this happened?
18 and 21 is when they end up killing their parents.
I understand what they went through and the whole sexual abuse and all that, but that doesn't give you the right to.
I don't think anybody's saying that.
No,
I
I'm not
definitely
saying
don't
that
want to.
either.
I don't want to give a go sign to any of these crazy kids that's out here these days.
Yeah,
you mess around and get that pass. It's like, yo, these people crazy already.
Yeah, and the way that they killed their parents was so violent and grotesque. I can't.
They've been behind bars for 34 years. There have been people that have murdered and killed and gotten out in 5, 7, 10 years. These boys have been in there for 34 years.
But what I'm tripping on is, okay, so if people are out here murdering and getting out in 10 years, why did they get what did they end up getting before life?
It's 50 years to life.
50 years life. So why did they get 50 years of life? It must have been worse than a regular schmegular. If 10 years is what murderers get.
So egregious, and it happened in Beverly Hills. They were a very well-off family. He was his father was like a music mogul.
Yeah.
And actually worked with
Menudo, I think.
Who's that guy? Clive Davis.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Clive Davis, there's also connection, obviously, with Diddy. So it seems like they obviously didn't get a fair trial. But after serving 34 years in prison for such a heinous crime, it should be looked at again.
You know what, though? I mean, just as somebody on the outside of it, I don't think that they should just get like some sort of clean pass, though, because they pretty much define parent murder.
Yeah.
In my head, I think of them.
They think poster child right there.
I think they're the poster. You talk about when did that happen? 89?
Yes.
Yeah.
These were the first ones. Mm-hmm. So how would the world be different if they didn't do it? I think they affected culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's some crazy people who done some things out there that maybe have done it for not as great a reason as apparently they did it.
Right.
But there's some copycats and people this became a thing after 89 when these two dudes killed their parents with shotguns to the face.
It was horrible and egregious. But if you look back at what was going on around that time during the trial, I believe the OJ trial was around the same time. And then you see the two brothers, and they were well-to-do, living in Beverly Hills. And then after they killed their parents, they went on a spending spree. They were young and dumb.
And they faked that phone call. I remember that.
Did.
I remember the news where they had that 911 call, and he was crying. I was like, "Boy, you're a terrible actor."
Yeah.
And that's a part of the problem. But I think the biggest thing is the fact that after they did everything that they did, is that they were living so lavish and everything was all right. And that's why I think the police officers went so hard in trying to get them in jail, because
after a while, they didn't even do much in the beginning because it was in such a clean area of Beverly Hills. The neighbors kept hearing gunshots, and they didn't even believe that there was gunshots.
Listen, it was a different time back then.
It really was.
And you got to think also, kids out there now with the way social media, the way access is with YouTube, you can Google anything and find out how to, what's the best case scenarios or whatever. These dudes, after they done this crime, go back to regular life. I guess this is the way we're supposed to do it. People out here who do crimes now have a wealth of information they can research on before they do a crime.
Oh, yeah. And I think it's a horrible idea because now they have a show that they have that's glorifying their whole thing.
It's not glorifying, but it is looking. I appreciate the documentary and the shows and stuff like this because, I mean, I was so young when this whole situation happened. I know the name, the Menendez brothers, but I never really knew what happened. Like, listen to this out of the 813. They were in the wake of the OJ trial, and they needed to account for something because the LAPD was so corrupt at the time. So they had to.
They lost because
had to take them down.
OJ won.
They were made an example, pretty much.
Yes.
Nah, that it's still funny to me because it's like, I mean, 89, that was so far along that it just these dudes, they're like Charlie Manson in my mind. Like the first, that first Helter Skelter stories that I heard, I was like, I had never heard that before. And then it's like, boom, these dudes did their parents. I'm like, I ain't never heard that before. Like they own the Mount Rushmore of murder stories. And now you're gonna tell me because they had a documentary, we see it different. Everybody who's guilty better go out and get a documentary made about them.
Yeah,
because apparently everybody get a documentary, everybody start feeling warm and fuzzy about you.
I feel about them the same way I feel about Gypsy Rose Blanchard because she murdered her parents too. And I sympathize with them with what they went through, but I don't think that these people should be out of jail. I think that they should.
Just the fact that a radio station is having a conversation about these person killed their parents, but they're going to get out. But these person killed their parents, and I think they need to stay in. It's like we can't you can't make it, you can't normalize.
We're not, but every case is different, and this one is definitely different. Right now, they're calling for a sentence of 50 years to life because they were younger than 26 at the time of the killings, and the brothers will then be eligible for parole immediately. And
this says also Kim Kardashian shared her reaction. The Menendez brothers were granted a second chance at life and will wake up tomorrow finally eligible for parole hearing. They could be released as early as 6 months. So thank you to George Gascon for revisiting the Menendez brothers case and righting a significant wrong. Wow.
See? Yeah. Oh,
so she's had something to do with this.
She went and she sat down with them and did an interview and spent some considerable amount of time.
On the Netflix thing?
No. Oh. No, so that's just a show. Now
I was about to say, she's just getting paid. But I never mind. I'll put that back in my pocket.
Well, she likes, she's trying to be a lawyer and all that stuff. She really
Is she still trying to be a lawyer?
I don't know if she dropped it, but she's been meeting a lot of
I know she's trying to get people out of jail on different cases. I don't know how she's picking these things. So, I'll wait for that documentary, I guess.
But the actor in that Netflix show went to sit down with the Menendez brothers as well.
Yeah.
And they've never been in trouble in jail. They got a bunch of degrees and stuff like that. They've started, I don't know. So they've been good after this amount of time in jail.
After they murdered their parents.
But see,
in the face.
If it shows,
in the face.
I'm
just saying, in the face. Can we not forget in the face?
Yeah, but you see right there, you were talking about the lawyer. Now, do you think the lawyer really feels like these people are innocent, or is she just going for the clout that these guys got right now?
I don't know.
I think it's both.
I think it's probably a big part of both. Like you take big clients because you want big pubs.
Sure.
And a big payday.
People agree with you, Orlando. They should not be let out. This person just texted in out of the 813. They murdered people. I don't care what the situation is. They made their choice.
Exactly. It just really feels like a documentary is a get out of jail free card. Like when people make your story feel like emotional and make you human, and you remember how when jurors, when they say voir dire, when you pick your jury, they want you to try and get somebody who's going to see you and humanize the person you're representing. Like they're like, you got to make them human and blah, blah, blah. These documentaries are humanizing these criminals that we were scared of. And now we get to see the other layers of the onion. And now we're like, they ain't that bad. It's like they shot their parents in the face.
People felt that way about Jeffrey Dahmer after that documentary.
I don't care the reason. It's not okay at all.
89, we might not have had too many like, hey, 1-800 lines to, hey, somebody touched me like we do now. Like kids got a lot of resources, and we are telling kids a lot about how to get protection if something happens to them.
Yeah.
So maybe that's something that we could say they should have had back in 89, but they ain't had that. Damn.
Yeah.
Y'all 21 and 18, y'all somebody out there would have listened to you.
They're adults.
Y'all just didn't want to. Y'all didn't want to leave you know, y'all don't want to leave the comforts of this mansion instead of just going out there and saying, hey, I'm not taking y'all money no more. I'm 21. I'm going out here and going doing this and going to tail on y'all.
I totally agree with you. We're getting a ton of texts in about this. Out of New York, out of the 585. I mean, if you erase the reason for your abuse and terrible mistreatment, would you sit in your sorrow or live like you wish you could?
If you erase it, I get living. I mean, you still ain't supposed to be out there.
They had
the
options.
Yes.
Like you could still call the police. There's other things that you could do.
That's like the casino. Don't be out there spending the money.
Right.
You know what
Damn,
I'm saying?
I know this is serious, but I have to read this text out of the 863. It says, y'all forgetting the biggest crime. Now everyone's listening to Milli Vanilli again.
For real. That bitch brought that whole thing back. Oh, my God. Like, I mean, now that's a crime right there. Hey, let him out and then put him right back in jail. Right to that.
Orlando and the Freak Show.
Thank you for watching this video. For all things wild, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel.